Good morning. Welcome to WSTN. I'm Pooja Surti, and this is AJ Robinson.
Today, we'll be opening with an update on Hurricane Florence and the impact it has had on our city.
Despite making landfall as a weekend Category 1 hurricane, Florence still had enough wind speed to uproot trees and cause widespread power outages throughout the Carolinas. Alongside a large storm surge, this caused widespread flooding along a long stretch of the North Carolina coast from New Bern to Wilmington.
New Bern was devastated by Hurricane Florence. When the storm howled through the city at the convergence of the Trent and Neuse rivers, it flooded homes, businesses, and streets for days.
Early estimates from the city showed at least 4,325 homes and 300 businesses are damaged and railroad tracks have been washed away.
According to the city's official Twitter accounts, Florence wreaked $74.5 million in residential damage and another $25.6 million in commercial damage.
The eastern North Carolina coastal town of New Bern is facing emergency flooding from Hurricane Florence. On Friday, its location on a peninsula between two rivers joined forces with Hurricane Florence's east winds to create disaster in the Craven County town, 115 miles southeast of the state capital of Raleigh. Due to this, anyone residing in New Bern at the time were urged to evacuate immediately.
New Bern is just a few miles from the Palomino Sound, which added to the town's flooding. About a third of households in Craven County, where New Bern is in the county seat, are considered cost-burdened by the North Carolina Housing Coalition. This means more than 30% of a family's budget is committed to rent and utilities, and that's because the average rent for a modest two-bedroom apartment in Craven County is nearly 20% higher than what the average rent here can afford, according to 2016 data collected by the coalition.
Due to this, more than 1,200 people fled their homes for shelters after a mandatory evacuation was declared in the area ahead of Hurricane Florence's arrival in New Bern. Let's take a look at some post-hurricane pictures in New Bern. In this first photo, we can see how Hurricane Florence caused a river to overflow, which led to the excessive flooding and damage to the city of New Bern. We're still seeing these damages today, and in this picture specifically, we can zoom in and see how it has water up to benches and rising up lampposts. Some went as far as to call Hurricane Florence's impacts on New Bern as biblical, due to the tremendous flooding and damage that it's caused to New Bern due to the location of it. As seen in this picture, the Neuse River flooding caused even more damage to the city of New Bern even after Hurricane Florence hit. Another hurricane that caused costly damages through New Bern was Hurricane Matthew. Hurricane Matthew was born in the Caribbean on September 28, 2016, but its eye passed through east of New Bern on October 9th at 4:25 a.m. Hurricane Matthew hit North Carolina as a Category 1 hurricane, but that didn't make it any less fatal. In only North Carolina, 26 people would lose their lives due to Matthew. We can compare this to Hurricane Florence, which killed 43 people in North Carolina alone. As seen in this viewer clip, we can see the extensiveness of the flooding in New Bern, which was due to the fact that just New Bern got 5.9 inches of rain, and that led to the flooding of the Neuse and Tar rivers, along with Little Swift Creek. Despite that, the total damages for Hurricane Matthew were only $1.6 billion, compared to a whopping $22 billion for Hurricane Florence. The one thing we can agree on is the fact that these were both monster hurricanes that shredded through the Carolinas. Now, here's for the morning news.
Now into the 5-day forecast. Today we have a high of 89 degrees with a low of 67, and tomorrow we have a high of 86 and a low of 66 degrees. We have a nice weekend ahead of us with a high of 83 and a low of 70 on Saturday, and a high of 85 with a low of 71 on Sunday. Monday, we go into a lower temperature-wise. We have a high of 78 and a low of 63 degrees, but it's still a very comfortable day for us.
Thank you, Tatiana. The current weather for today right now is 81 degrees outside with clear skies, winds from the southwest at 5 miles per hour, and the dew point is 63 degrees. Now tonight, the conditions are going to be 73 degrees with clear skies with south to southwest winds at 9 miles per hour. Tomorrow's conditions, 71 degrees, cloudy, south to southwest, winds at 6 miles per hour. And tomorrow night, we have 68 degrees, partly cloudy, south to southeast, winds at 10 miles per hour. So this is the current surface map for today. So we have a high pressure system over here off to the east of North Carolina, off the coast. And to the north, we have a warm front heading north. And there's a stationary front to the left of that. Now we have a weather system developed over Midwest next to Tennessee, and with a low pressure air system and a cold front to the south of it and a warm front to the northeast. So over to the left of the warm front, we have a high pressure air system, and this is covering most of the Midwest and getting over into the West Coast. Now to north, above the border to Canada, we have a low pressure air system with some cold fronts. And down to the south, we have low pressure, and then we have the string of low pressure and cold fronts, and then this one little area of warm front. So this is a cloud coverage map. So where the orange is, there's no clouds. So this is all clear over here. We have a little bit of strips of clouds, though they're not very high. And then we have this one giant cloud mass. That's where on the current map we could see all the raining and storms occurring. So now this is zoomed in onto the East Coast, and clearly there's no weather developing over North Carolina. To the north, right next to Charleston, West Virginia, we do have this one small storm, maybe a little bit of thunderstorm action right there. And to the north of that, we have a fairly calm storm, not much going on over here. But when you take a look at Missouri, Indiana, we have a bunch of heavy rain and precipitation over in this area going directly from north to south in just this long string. That's all for the weather.